The world now is changing. You've taken in both good and evil. You didn't have evil to deal with before. Now you have to deal with it. Okay? And because of this, we have to make sure that we're keeping ourselves in prayer, keeping ourselves humble, keeping ourselves reading the Word, because that's what's in the earth. That's what I'm saying. You can't escape it. You're going to have to deal with it. One level or another, you're going to have to deal with it. But if we humble ourselves, repent, and stay on the path of righteousness for God's sake, then it can make the process much easier and better. Okay? So he goes on to say in verse 18, thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat of the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. So he established how it's going to be, and he's letting them know straight up. God is always very informative to us. He lets us know how things are going to be because he doesn't want us to be ignorant. You know, even if you don't know anything, even if you don't have a relationship with God, he's implanted in each and every human being a conscience. You know when you're doing wrong. Whether anybody tell you anything or not, whether you've got written laws, you know when you're doing wrong. Okay? And that's that conscience that speaks to you. You know, that's why, you know, I always say, hey, you know, if a person was kept away on a remote island from all society, wasn't taught anything about the laws, and then you plop them right down in New York City, and he ended up murdering somebody, and he's brought before the court, they're still going to hold him responsible for killing somebody. You know, he has, the defense attorney might try his bit and say, well, you know, he wasn't raised around here, he doesn't know any laws, you know, he should let this guy off the hook because, you know, he's ignorant. You know, the judge ain't going to let him go. You're going to say, whether or not he knew or not, he's still accountable for breaking the law, and we have to carry out justice in this circumstance. So justice is being laid out here by God because of the choice, because of the decision. This is how things are going to be, like it or not. And to this day, everything that he said has been happening. Exactly. All right? So we need to take heed to all of this and say, okay, because of this example of what not to do, I need to do the direct opposite of that and follow God's word. If he tells me to humble myself and be obedient, hearken to my voice, obey my commandment, that's what I need for my family. Because now God can work through me, through my relationship, through my children, through my household, to make sure that his will is being done, and to make sure that all the promises and the blessings that he says that he wants for us is made manifest and accomplished. I'm going to kind of skip through, but as you begin to go through Adam and Eve, you move on to Cain and Abel. Here come the children. Ta-da! Bad children.
The father.
Now, because of evil is now present, now the children got to deal with the evil too. And the children, Cain and Abel were giving up an offering unto God. And Abel gave a great offering because he gave the best of what he had first to God. Okay? Cain gave him something. There you go. That's kind of like, you know what I'm talking about. That's kind of like the members in the church that have been there 15 years and they still throw $1 in the plate. There you go. That should take care of the oil bill for the church. Okay? That's what happens. You can tell the descendants of Cain, but anyhow. The whole point is that the children started partaking in the same evil that God told Adam and Eve that they're going to be subject to. And so, guess what happened? Just like Eve and Adam took offense to their situation, Satan used the same offense to get on the children. Okay, this is what we call about generational curses that run through family. It's the action of the head can affect the entire family. And so Satan played those two children on the same thing to get them pitted against each other. He started with offense. He started with fear, doubt, and strife. And mind you, God warned Cain. He's like, look, if you do the same thing he did, it'll be well. What's the problem? He's like, I'm still offended. And he know he couldn't do nothing about God, so he's like, I'll kill him. like that gonna fix everything. You know, but you know, when you're steeped in iniquity and wrong thinking, you can't see that. Your mind is clouded, you're in darkness. So that means the enemy had him steeped in this wrong thinking of offense that he decided to act out. One of the three things you have to watch out, even with your children, is this level of offense getting in place, because it starts at their mind. What the enemy will do is three things with every human being on this planet. He will do these three things. He will bring upon you oppression, and when that oppression comes, it becomes an obsession to get rid of that oppression. When that oppression does not leave you, and you're obsessed with it, then now it gets into possession. And once he has possessed you, then he can do anything he wants. And that's the three levels that Cain went through. He stopped listening. He wouldn't hearken to God's warnings. Okay, because God trying to tell him, look, he can see. You know what he's getting ready to do. He tried to warn him, but he was so obsessed that the enemy was able to send a thought at his possession moment and say, kill him. And he acted it out. So these methods that the enemy uses is tactics that he uses on us all, but he especially uses to break up family. He uses the same thing over and over again, the same methods. And even if you move on over to looking at the family structure of Abraham and Sarah, okay? They were doing good until this "you're gonna have a child" thing. They were doing pretty good, you know. And then once Abraham decided to share the vision and the dream and the hope with his wife that, hey, we're going to have a baby, you know, it was like, you know, she laughed. She's like, you know, hey, you know, that should have happened like 40, 50 years ago. You know, what are you talking about? I ain't have no baby now. You must be crazy. In my 90s, you talking about let's have a baby. I know what your problem is. You just want some sex. So what I'm going to do is have one of my concubines lay with you, and then you be all square, okay? And you and this baby thing. Now, now Abraham should have said, he should have said, you know, God told me it was with you. But his wrong thinking was, okay. That was his wrong thinking. He said, okay, where is she? Because he did exactly what she said. He had no problem with that. Didn't put on no brakes. He didn't say, wait a minute, no, I love you. No, God said it's supposed to be you and me. None of that debate went on. Notice that. But this choice and decision was leading to a problem. Because then came Ishmael. Ishmael was not the promised seed because the relationship was supposed to be between him and Sarah, what God said. It was going to come out of them two. But his disobedience, not to follow what God said, has caused the Muslims and the Jews to be at war today. Okay? This is a thing going way back. And so we can understand that if it wasn't for these choices and decisions, a lot of this stuff wouldn't happen. Because guess what happened in the end? Sarah and him still had the child. So if they would have made the correct decision to be obedient to what God said, it wouldn't have happened. But disobedience brings in a curse. And that's what the enemy wants to continue to try to do. If you move through the Bible into the rest of the family structures, even King David, he was doing all right until he decided to marry and have children. He was doing okay. He went up there, took down Goliath, and just having a good old time. Just him and the Lord against the world. He was having a good old time. But once he started getting involved with relationships and was anointed king, he began to get off the path of what God said. Okay? His heart was supposed to be after him and his ways. So he got caught up in adultery. Then from adultery, he got caught up in murder because he had to kill the wife because she was pregnant. Kill the husband because she was pregnant. All this mess started happening because of one decision and thought to be out of the will, to be disobedient toward God. And if you continue to move through the rest of the Bible, the rest of the family, you're like, man, there's a lot of dysfunctional families in the Bible. My goodness. I thought they were all good and holy and didn't mess nothing up. Now you see why Jesus had to come. Because he was up there a lot of times going, oh, Lord. They don't get it. They don't get it. I'm going to have to come down and do this myself. You know? But he kept trying. He kept trying with us. But to close, God just wants us to be, in order for us to have our families intact,